The year is 2025 and PRS have killed a few guitars. Why? Hi everyone, welcome back to the Ministry of Guitar. I'm Utkarsh coming to you from Singapore. Today we are going to talk about the guitars that PRS has killed, both in their new 2025 lineup and in general over the last couple of years or so. And we're going to talk about what are the reasons, potential reasons why, and what should we take away from this. So here is the 2025 lineup. Looks good, a bunch of custom 24s, a bunch of McCartys, a new standard, a bunch of Hollowbodies, speciality, signature. It all looks good. But then you realize that, wait, something's missing. Go to signature, where the hell is the Paul's guitar? Go to Hollowbody, where is the normal Hollowbody without the Piezo? Go to the McCarty, where the hell is the Singlecut? The McCarty 594 Singlecut, one of my favorite guitars. The guitar that converted me to PRS, frankly speaking. So there are a few things that are going on. And sorry, did I mention such speciality? Where is the 509? Where is the 408? They may sound like obscure numbers to you, but let me assure you they're very interesting guitar models. So what's happening here? So let's go over each of the guitars that PRS is not making anymore. What makes them different from what is on the lineup? What has potentially replaced it? And further thoughts. I'm going to start off with the Paul's guitar. The Paul's guitar is supposed to be Paul Reed Smith's own signature guitar. What differentiates it from a regular custom? Let's start off with a custom 24 because custom 24 is the basic, is the archetypical PRS. So the Paul's guitar is the same shape, but instead of having a thinner body, it has a thicker body like a McCarty. Instead of having two big humbuckers, it has these smaller humbuckers. They are now called TCI humbuckers. They used to be called 408 humbuckers. Don't confuse yourself. They're just thinner. They has this unique coil splitting system, which is not there on the custom 24, but which was later adopted on the custom 2408. So you can split the coils individually. And the Paul's guitar typically comes with a stop tail, but it can come with a tremolo as well. Also, the Paul's guitar has a thicker neck. That's the Paul's guitar. Why has it been taken away? Probably because it's not selling much. It's been around for a while, though there is an SE version of this, so that seems to indicate a certain level of popularity for this guitar. So I'm surprised. Yeah, what is the reason to have a Paul's guitar versus a custom 24 or versus a McCarty? A McCarty would be a better example because it's very similar to the Paul's guitar, except Paul's guitar has smaller pickups and has a splitting. Paul's guitar gives you a brighter sound despite having a humbucker guitar. A McCarty sounds like a Les Paul. A Paul's guitar doesn't exactly sound like a Les Paul. Maybe that is the problem between a traditional feeling guitar that sounds more like a Les Paul, but not exactly, versus something that has its own voice. Maybe people prefer that. So what do you do if you want the Paul's guitar's mini humbucker, not mini, but smaller humbucker sound, the splits? Actually, all is not lost because you have two options. You have the custom 2408, which has got the same humbuckers, and it's got a tremolo, I agree, so maybe that's not what you want. But it has the same humbuckers. It can pretty much make similar sounds. There would be a difference because it has 24 frets. So it has a slightly different sound versus a 22 fret guitar, and it doesn't give you the thick neck. Now, if you want the thick neck and you still want those sounds, then you can potentially get a modern Eagle 5, which is basically a Paul's guitar with an extra single coil in the middle and a tremolo. And because of the extra single coil in the middle, you have slightly more different combinations so that you can do with a 5-way blade versus a 3-way switch. And it has a thicker neck, the pattern neck similar to a Paul's guitar. So the modern Eagle 5 is a good replacement. But the reality is that if you want a Paul's guitar with a stop tail, you're out of luck. You don't have that anymore. So yeah, there we go. That's the Paul's guitar. Let's talk about the other guitar that they have killed. One of my favorites, the McCarty 594 Singlecut. You can see it's a Singlecut. This is basically the McCarty, which is a more traditional, thicker PRS. McCarty 594. So what makes a McCarty into a 594 is they reduce the scale length to 24.594, and they give it a double, like a Tunomatic style two-piece bridge, and Les Paul style switches, but they have coil splits, which Les Pauls don't have. Thick neck. 594 Singlecut is just a Singlecut version of this. Why have they removed it? I guess the 594 double cut is selling more than the single cut because it could well be that anybody who wants a single cut is maybe just buying a Les Paul instead. Again, it's a little surprising because the 594 is single cut 594 has an SE version as well, but who knows? Who knows? So that's the other one. Do you have an alternative to this? If you want a single cut chord guitar, you do, but it's a very different kind of guitar. It's called a Tremonti. Some of you may know this. It has a thin neck, it has a tremolo, very high output humbucker in the bridge, and slightly different knob layout. So if you want a single cut Les Paul style PRS, I'm sorry, you're out of luck. I guess there are plenty of them on the used market, but this is one of the subtractions that has surprised me. Let's get into the other one. So Hollowbody to non-piezo going away is not too surprising because there's a lot of overlap between the Hollowbody without a piezo and the McCarty 594 Hollowbody. Both have the same bodies. The difference is that McCarty 594, just like the other 594s, has a smaller scale length, more Les Paul like bridge, more Les Paul like knob layout. While the Hollowbody 2 would have a 25-inch scale like a normal PRS and single bridge with a normal single volume, single tone. So I guess it's not too much of a loss. If you really want a Hollowbody 2, just get it with the piezo. It'll cost a bit more or buy one used. So this one I'm not too fussed about, but it's definitely something to note that you can no longer get the Hollowbody 2 without a piezo. Now let's get into the older ones. There are two guitars that I want to get into. One is the 509. This is a guitar they removed a couple of years ago. This is similar to the 513 that I keep playing on the channel. The concept of this is you have 5 single coils, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you have a 5-way blade, and you can basically have all single coil. You can split the single coils for the neck and the bridge. You can put them. You can have a typical 5-way switch like you would have on a Strat, and you can split individually. So lots of interesting combinations, 9 combinations, hence the name 509. This one was a very interesting guitar because it has a slightly longer scale length. This one has a 25 and a quarter in scale length, so almost at a Strat, even though it is a typical mahogany body. So very Les Paul like. It's kind of a hybrid between a Les Paul and a Strat, which is what the original 513, the ancestor of this guitar, was. My opinion, I love the 513, not the biggest fan of the 509, so not crying over this one's a loss. But it definitely is a niche guitar that a lot of suits some people. 408 is more interesting. I have the original version of this guitar, which was a private stock. It was not called a 408, it was called a Signature Limited. Here the concept is, remember the thinner humbuckers of the Paul's guitar, you have thicker humbuckers for the bridge. So the idea is typically the neck sound is a little bit too warm, so you thin the humbucker to make it sharp, make it brighter. The bridge sound is sometimes too bright, so you thicken the humbucker to make it warmer. That was the idea. This was a model that honestly I don't think ever did really well. I think in general what you're seeing as a theme here is PRS guitars with proprietary pickups that you cannot swap out because these are proprietary PRS pickups. These are proprietary PRS pickups. They have removed some models, so they have just kept a couple of guitars with the proprietary pickups, which is the Custom 2408 and the Modern Eagle 5. And technically, both the Studio and the Special Semi Hollow have the proprietary narrow field humbucker as well. So they've just kind of rationalized their proprietary pickup range, which I can understand. Okay, so there we go. Am I happy or sad about all of this? I do think the McCarty 594 single cut going away is a bit of a loss. The rest of them, maybe the Paul's guitar, but clearly it's not selling enough if they wanted to remove it, so I get it. But I would hope that they would keep the McCarty 594 single cut because Les Paul shaped, a single cut shaped Les Paul like guitar, the fact that you can't buy one new from PRS anymore is a shame because the double cut McCarty 594 is great, but it's not a single cut. And if when you want a single cut, you just want a single cut. So that's my take on this. All right, let me know what you think. Would you miss any of these models that have been cut? Do you wish that they bring some other models back? And that could be a different angle as well. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.